It's time for class, everyone. Welcome to the master class. My name is Daryl Kwawu, in for Yao Banafo again this week. I hope you're having a great day so far. I think it's been raining. Has it been raining? Yeah, it has been raining. Yeah. So a great time to grab a cup of coffee or tea, your notebook and your pens, because class is about to begin. And our facilitator is in studio with me, Albert Nii Ayi Tagoe, who is a chartered management accountant, currently head of finance and investment at the Ghana Commodity Exchange. That's a big position. How have you been, Albert?
Yeah, it's been exciting. I mean, so far I've gotten some feedback.
Last class. Last week someone called me. I forget the name, but someone called me about the puzzle because she couldn't stick around to hear the answer. So she wanted to be sure she had the answer right, and she did. And so, great stuff. Great to see you. Great to have you in the studio. We've been talking about a very important subject for everybody who wants to start a business. That is how to raise capital for your startup business.
Right.
Yesterday was last week. Why did I say yesterday? Last week was insightful because you what did they say? You said the ball rolling. Is that the I got the English right.
Right.
Working on our minds.
Yes.
Yeah, because you say that is the first place to start when you want to raise capital for your business.
Right.
And today we're going to be looking at funding options for businesses.
Right.
We think we know, but we don't really know. And that's why we brought Albert Nii Ayi Tagoe to discuss that with me. He's also author of the book, How to Raise Capital for Your Startup Business. I got my copy last week. I've been doing a bit of reading, so I'm going to read a bit of it. Something that I resonate with because I don't like water. And so page 4, you say, I remember in 2012 when I first was learning how to swim at Wangara Hotel with Patrick. I was always wondering how one could be swimming in the water without drowning. It looked to me like rocket science before. So I started thinking deeply about this. How can I swim? I needed to debunk the myths in my mind about the fear of drowning. So I opened my mind to understand and learn gradually the science behind swimming. The insights were very revealing. Today I can swim both breaststrokes and freestyle over 50 meters to 400 meters. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Because I challenged myself to answer the question, how can I swim? And you say, as a startup business owner and an entrepreneur, these are some skills you would need even as you begin thinking of ways to raise startup capital for your business. And so I thought, wow, this is very insightful. And congratulations on your ability to do what? Freestyle over 50 meters to 400 meters.
So swimming
and it started with your mind. And that's what you were teaching us last week. So a quick recap, Albert.
Yes, so last week we worked on exactly what you said, Daryl, on the mind. How? So you're able to trigger the aspects of the mind to tell you how you are able to raise capital. So that's really more of developing the skills. And we're also able to learn about how to develop the analytical thinking, which is all starting with the processes of the mind. And once you have been able to understand that, the process has already started. And just rightly, like you use the swimming example, I had to really learn the science behind that. And one of the interesting things I'd like to share with you about that was that you know that balloon, when you put air in balloon, like the way the balloon floats on the water, if you want to learn how to swim, one of the things that you have to be able to understand is that you have to be able to fill your lungs with air. When you fill your lungs with air,
that's
and
so
you
stressful.
Hold that,
that's so stressful.
If you hold that and you are on the water will bring you up very naturally. So that's the science behind that. So once you have that, all the issues of I'll drown and all of that is actually demystified because you understand the science behind the act. So then I began to practice and I realized the reason why you bring your head up is because you have to take air. So when you take air, so if you see a swimmer bringing the head up and taking air, you are filling your lungs with air. Then you go back and then put yourself in a gliding position that lets you float. Once you actually lose a bit of that air, you have to come up again, take it, so it maintains that balance. So that is the fundamental aspects of the science behind that activity. So if you are learning how to raise capital, what is the science behind that? And that's why I'm very happy that we even went through the funding stages where we spoke about the pre-seed, the seed. So for the purposes of listeners, you have to, I'm sure by now listeners have actually identified which stage of their businesses are, regardless of the business that you are doing. Are you in the pre-seed? Are you in the seed? Are you in Series A, Series B, Series C, or ready for an IPO financing? So today's lesson will now touch on each of those stages, how you would actually have to explore some of these alternative financing, and then you'll be able to navigate the process, just like taking in air, so you can be able to float on the water. So what air do you take to be able to finance the pre-seed stage of your business, which is very important. So if listeners can recap what we learned last week, so the pre-seed, I mentioned that you have actually become very excited, you've called your friend, now you are putting in the work, you are doing the logos. So the first source of funding that you would actually recommend is owner financing. And it's important for listeners to understand that when you are thinking about financing sources, think about it in terms of debt or equity. And every funds actually have costs to the funds, which is very, very important. So at that pre-seed, we mentioned that you don't have products, you don't have any market, you are practically putting together the basics of your business. So you have to be able to do owner financing. And owner financing is that's why you would hear that, oh, you have to start from your pocket. And the reason is because of the stage that the business in and how that will navigate you very gradually. And we use the baby steps to be able to becoming an adult. So you should be able to have your own owner funds. And that would help you. What is the cost of having your own owner funds? You are not paying any interest to anybody, and you are not even paying any dividends. So if you go for equity, you are going to pay dividends to investors in your business. That's the difference. And if you go for debt, you are paying what we call monthly interest payment. So note that debt and equity have both costs, but the costs is what would help you depending on the stage of the business that you are in. So that's the very first. So if you have all those ideas that you want to start, start. So designing your logo, you pay the one who is helping you to do the logo. Market research. So you have to incur some, even internet costs, all the things, they are all little things that you are building that comes from your own financing. And one thing I say is that you have to learn to capitalize this financing as that becomes part of your equity that you have started the business with. So it has to be capitalized. So even if you spend on internet, whatever you spend on has to be capitalized for you to know that this is actually a part of my ownership of the business. Now, after you have done that, we always say that you can explore family and friends.
Okay.
Same. So I called Daryl. Daryl, I have this idea. It says what? Your network is your net worth. You need to be able to know. So you call a friend who is interested in the business, who has some financing. Usually, friends would help you depending on how the kind of agreement that you have. But I always put a caveat in dealing with family and friends that please don't treat this transaction source or this investment as an ordinary investment. Friends and family sources play a critical role as part of that pre-seed. You have to be able to offer minimum returns to your friends and family and have an agreement in place.
Okay.
Which is very, very important. You do not treat your friend. So your friend comes in to help you to be able to navigate the idea at this point by offering financial resources. So you have to either offer the minimum return rate or a negotiated rate between yourself and then the friend that is helping you to be able to do that. So you see that your business begins to gain traction very gradually, and then it begins to build gradually. And then you would have to be, so if you are in this country, you have to be able to now explore what we call angel investments. And that is a very interesting thing that I always want to mention. There are angel investors all over the world that you have to be able to look out for. So you see the signs, owner financing. So you see that the business begins to grow very gradually. You have to do some other market research, family and friends come in, and then you treat this as equity. Either you are giving, so you have to know that is the person giving this to me as an equity or as debt. If it's equity, then the friend becomes a part owner. That's why you see companies say, oh, this person is a co-founder. It's a co-founder. They have agreed that he's giving this funds to you as equity to be able to run If it's debt, the person may not necessarily be a co-founder, but you would have to service your monthly repayments as you are supposed to do. Then you now have to explore angel investments in that particular pre-seed funding. There are angel investors in Ghana, and one of the angel investors I usually talk about, Peter Thiel. He's actually one of the angel investors in the companies like Facebook and all of that. The thing you have to know is a lot of these companies that we've seen globally have all gone through the pre-seed to the seed, and they've been funded. So angel investors actually exist. In Ghana, we have the angel investor network group, which I've mentioned, just to create that enlightenment that you have to look out for the angel investors. Usually, angel investors will be like experienced business people who would want to put some funds into your business and help you to be able to navigate the process very gradually. They come in with a good experience to be able to help you to move your business as is actually expected for you to go. So it's kind of experience that you would need to be able to explore as you're actually moving up. So you see that the business begins to take traction very gradually. An angel investor puts an amount of money into your business. And then what I usually would say is that you would have to be able to explore incubation centers. So in Ghana, that's why you would see that there are a number of incubation centers in Ghana that are actually helping startup companies to be able to grow with what we call pre-seed funds. So they are giving you the initial startup funds. So incubation centers, I mentioned that I was invited to Ashesi University for the entrepreneurship program, where I met a number of startup companies and we discussed issues around funding. There's an incubation center with the Ashesi University and other incubation centers that we actually have in Ghana that are providing startup capital for business ideas. The thing is that you need the information to be able to explore. You understand what I'm saying? So that helps you to be able, and there are a number of competitions, the Cosmos Innovation Center and a few of those innovation centers that are actually in Ghana that are providing startup funds that you have to. And most importantly, you have to know the government organizations that are helping to be able to drive the entrepreneurship. So in Ghana, we have the National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program, which is providing funds for startup capital funding for businesses to be able to grow. We also have the Ghana Enterprises Agency. These are all organizations that are providing funds for pre-seed funding for businesses. So you see, you begin to know what to do. You have the idea. The whole spectrum is there. You know the science. Okay, so if I'm in pre-seed, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then that helps you that these are the sources that I'm supposed to be able to explore. But what gets very exciting is that once you begin to move to seed funding, what happens? You know, pre-seed is like the initial stage I was talking about. Now you know that you have a product, which usually will be like a prototype product that you have on the market. And then your market has begun to maybe test for market fit and product fit, and people are beginning to accept you. But at that point, you are only making minimal sales, which is the seed funding. So depending on the business that you are running, even a financial institution, the point here is that you would know that you have all of these sources available to you. So you have what? Your owner financing, you have the family and friends. You've probably attracted a few angel investors that are actually helping you. Okay. Then we have a term in finance which we call bootstrapping. You have to be able to bootstrap. So bootstrapping, you are using your own financing. And then the little revenues that are coming in, you have to be able to turn that revenues around to put into strategic areas of your startup that will give you a lot more revenue. So you see how the science is going. Owner financing, family and friends, you attract angel investors, explore incubation centers, government organizations, and then once you get to the seed stage, you begin to position yourself to bootstrap. You have all of these sources available to you. Now your own revenues, you begin to use that to generate into the different aspects of your business. It's going to help you to grow. So once you begin to bootstrap, what happens? You are able to start expanding your market, but at that point you would need an experienced firm to be able to hold your hands, depending on so it varies depending on the industry of your business and all of that. And we have venture capital financing.
Yeah.
That's the next step within the seed fund. So this is where we have, so venture capital funds are venture capital funds that are actually in existence. They are actually helping your organization to be able to provide you with some equity financing, and in some instances, depending on the debt financing that can actually be provided. But venture capital will invest in your business, and then what happens is that once they are investing as equity holders, they come in with experience to be able to guide you. So remember, you have been bootstrapping, your product is beginning to gain some traction. Now people are beginning to accept you gradually, and then you would have to be able to use the venture capital funds, the experience. So once they have that equity contribution, what happens is that the investor actually would now sit on the board to help you to make strategic decisions. So they become like your big brothers who are helping you to actually grow your business.
Not to cut you,
right?
The masterclass is brought to you by Gwal Good Energy, Goya Narayan. I just want to mention our text line. It's 055 1111997 055 1111997 in case you have a question or a contribution. I just interrupted because I saw a message from one of our listeners. I think it's Jomo Bilakai, who is asking what is an equity, and because you keep mentioning it, so that it gets settled in our minds what you're referring to.
Great. That's what Jomobi Lakai.
Yes.
It's a very good question.
Jomobi
Lakai.
Forgive us, we made your name.
So Jomobi, very good question. When we talk about equity, we talk about, so we have different forms of investment, either equity or debt. So equity is like buying the shares in the business. So it makes you an owner of the business. So when you say that I'm an equity investor, it means that what you are literally saying is that I want to buy shares in your company. And if the person buys shares in your company, or the investor buys shares in your company, it means that you have to be able, so assuming it's Jomobi who is actually buying shares, that becomes she has what? Equity holdings, and you have to pay Jomobi dividends.
All right, John Obi, I hope that's easy to understand.
Yes.
All right.
We want to break the masterclass finance language so we can all, and I'm very happy about that question because then it breaks things down. For all of us to understand.
Yeah, so in case you have any questions, you can send them through as well. So let's continue with Albert. So we're talking about...
So I was talking about the venture capital financing, which is very, very important for us to be able to understand. So when we moved from bootstrapping, we came to venture capital finance. So now you can find out how many venture capital firms do we have in Ghana? In Ghana, we have the government, which is the Venture Capital Trust Fund. So for those of us who do not know that this exists, we have the Venture Capital Trust Fund in Ghana that are helping startup companies to grow by investing strategically in these startups. So please look out for them. And these are things I have captured to give you that insight. And I want to share this for listeners who want to be able. So when you want to do venture capital funds, there are some things that you want to be able to understand, which I have captured in the slide. Maybe we can show. There are two keys I want to show here. There's what we call pre-money valuation and then post-money valuation. Now, when we talk about equity, we are talking about ownership. So to be able to go into venture capital financing as part of your seed process in financing your business, you have to understand what is pre-money valuation. So usually your pre-money valuation would be, so if Daryl started a business, you bought internet, all the initial capital that you actually started with, you have capitalized it. So that becomes your equity. So you have a fair idea how much your business is valued. So if Daryl, and I have here, I said founders of X company value their company at 50,000. That becomes your pre-money valuation. So it means that Daryl owns 100% of that company. Now, you contacted a venture capital firm who injected 10,000 Ghana cedis into the business. What happens? Now, your money has increased from 50,000 to 60,000 valuation. So the 60,000 becomes what we call your post-money valuation. But why do you do this? Because you want to be able to establish how much equity holdings does the venture capital firm has. So you do what? 20,000. He added what? It was 10,000 that the venture capital in. So it would be what? 10,000 over 60,000 times 100. Then that will give you the equity percentage ownership of the external investor, in this case, the venture capital person. So the example I have here, which I'm sure we can show on the screen, I said that you have your pre-money valuation of 50,000, and then you have a venture capital firm giving you an extra 20,000. So your post-money valuation here becomes what? 70,000. So if you want to establish how much your external investor owns, in this case the venture capital firm, is going to be your 20,000 over your 70,000 times 100, which means that they own about what? 29% of your business. So if your business today should make a profit of 100,000 cedis, it means that if you are going to pay dividends, you are going to pay them to the tune of the percentage that the person owns as equity of your business.
I think that's where some entrepreneurs have a problem when they have to open up their business for some other people to own it as well.
Yes.
It's like I'm losing my business.
Right. So
what do you have to say to those concerns?
that's why you have to understand the funding stages. At a point, you would have to be able to give others opportunity to participate in your success story. You have a great idea, but you may not always have to own it.
How is that
100%.
advantageous? Maybe that helps.
So to break this down, we have what we call controlling interest and non-controlling interest. If you give less than 50% of your equity holdings to an investor, the person has a non-controlling interest. If you give more than 50%, then the person has a controlling interest. So usually you would give a portion, either 20% or 30%, and then you can hold the majority depending on how the business is beginning to scale up. That is why you have to go through the processes. Bootstrap. Then you have to bring in strategic investors at the right time, depending on the stage of the business that you actually are in, which is very, very important. And one thing that I want to also add as part of pre-money valuation, post-money valuation is your burn rate. So I gave an example here that if you start a business, one of the capital raising language you have to know is how much cash are you burning at the end of the month. So you do that by saying, so I say the monthly burn rate equals to your cash at start minus your cash at the end divided by the number of months. So if my cash at start was 50,000, and then as at the end of, let's say, August or July, my cash that I have is 20,000. To be able to establish your burn rate, it's going to be your 50,000 minus your 20,000 divided by the number of months, in this case 7 months, which would give you about 4,285, which is your burn rate. It helps you to understand how cash is moving out of your business, in understanding the rate at which you're actually burning cash. So in all of this, you have to be able to distinguish every time between equity and debt financing in the business. But it doesn't end there. And so you see, when you come to the seed funding, now there's grants. And grants is a very big area. So you see, now I'm proposing that you can now start looking at grants. Even after the VC financing, look at grants. And there are international organizations and government organizations that are providing grants to businesses to grow. And these grants usually does not require you to pay back. It's like technically monies that you have to account for. But the most important thing is that you have to set up a business that is making an impact in society. So to be able to attract grant funding, you have to be able to make what? An impact. So either it's in the recycling space, or the climate space, or whichever area that you're actually making an impact positively on the economy, you can apply for grants. And so as a startup owner or a business owner, you need to be able to have and learn, what do I have to do when it comes to grant finance? And that's what we'll be doing predominantly next week, where I'm going to take listeners through how do you prepare for grants, how do you execute the grants, and then how do you manage the grants. But in the same seed funding, you can be navigating between government organizations, incubator companies, and then there's also what we call crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is where you open up to other investors who are actually supporting you through maybe social media networks and all that. But one thing I want to educate listeners here is that crowdfunding is in Ghana is actually regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's very, very important. So you have to know that if it's an area you want to go for, you have to seek approval from the Securities and Exchange Commission, and then that is how the process actually.
How popular is it though here in Ghana?
Oh, it's not too popular. Crowdfunding has just started. SEC is actually approving that and all of that. So, but you have to be able to know that this is how some of these processes are. So we have to open up. You see, so that's the point of this whole masterclass. Like, the options are there. You have to understand what do I do at which stage and which processes do I follow, and you go through very smoothly before you realize you have actually moved from pre-seed, and then you will now be in Series A. And you mentioned Series A. I said that now your market is established. People are beginning to be excited about Daryl's product and what you actually produce. So at that point, the funding changes. What happens in Series A? People are buying your product. So you are actually earning a lot more revenue, which in finance we call operating income. Once your business begins to have operating income, you are very much good to go. So at that point, you still have the venture capital firm financing, which you can attract, which will help you to be able to grow very gradually. They are giving you the experience, guiding you with all the equity investment. But once you are having operating income, financial institutions such as banks would always want to lend you money on how much operating income you are making. if your operating income size is good enough to be able to finance a debt financing from a financial institution, then you are good to go. So you see how the whole process. So before you want to go for loans or other debt financing, you have to be able to make sure that your operating income, the size of your operating income, is good enough to be able to accommodate both the principal and the monthly service repayments, whilst your business still grows, and then it becomes very profitable. In doing that and having that at the back of your mind, know that around the world we have impact funds. And I want to repeat that. We have impact fund in Series A funding. So what's the impact fund doing? These are funds that we have that are also helping to be able to invest in various areas, businesses, to be able to grow the economy. And these impact funds are actually directed towards environmental and social impacts of your business, and usually will be channeled through financial institutions and all of that. These funds are there, so you just have to look for them. Oh, I want to invest in impact fund, but you have to make sure that you have gotten to a Series A in your business where you are actually getting some operating income. And then, so you see, if you decide to start, you have to know that, wow, it's not like I'm just starting and I'm going to this place for money, or I need to understand where I am, which stage I am, and then what am I even doing to be able to get there. When you get to Series B, you are now established. So at that point, the most important thing for your business is that you now probably have all the regional representations. You cannot continue to run your business on the equity. Now you have to focus more on how valuable your business is. And when you want to see how valuable your business is, you have to have what we call optimal capital structure mix. So the capital structure in finance, we have what? Debt and what? Equity. So if you want the mix, you have to be able to have good mix between your equity and then your debt, and that will give you what we call maximum value of your business. Okay, so with the right capital structure mix between your debt and so you see, loans are very good because it helps you to also grow your business by becoming more valuable, depending on the right capital structure mix that you have. And that is where you are in Series B funding stage, where you have established market with regional representation, you have a sizable operating income, so you begin to navigate between your debt and equity to be able to grow the value of your business, and it will attract a lot more corporate investors as well. Corporate investors have some funds to be able to put in your business to be able to grow. And then there are other forms of financing, like private equity firms who actually like investment management companies that manage funds for wealthy, high class people and corporate investors. We can place some kind of private equity funds in your business to be able to grow. So you'd see that the business begins to grow by leveraging on all these sources that we have, depending on the state that you are in. Then with the right support and the right growth, you move to Series C funding, where now you begin to combine all of the various sources that you actually have, moving between private equity, corporate investments, and all of that. And then your business begins to gain the traction that you actually know. So when we talk about IPO, which we usually would open up, it's like you are opening up. So the business can grow to an IPO stage where you say that now I want everybody, including maybe Daryl, to buy a bit of a share in my company. So you see MTN traded the shares, which we were all buying. It means that you became a part owner of MTN, and that also means that you own an equity share. So that's also to go back to. So what equity means, that I am an owner of the business. So when at the end of the month the business makes profits, you give me a proportion of how much ownership I have in the business. And that's how the capital is. So that one you have opened up to the public, and that becomes the investment how you raise capital on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Okay.
All right. You're listening to the masterclass. So many things to digest this afternoon. I'm actually listening. I'm just thinking, wow, there's so many sources of funding. And so if you're an entrepreneur, you want to read more. Thankfully, Albert is author of the book How to Raise Capital for Your Startup Business. He's our facilitator for the month on the subject of how to raise capital for your startup business. He's been talking to us about funding options. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll do some more, take your questions as well. Don't go anywhere.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Alrighty, class is back from the break. Hope you're back with us as well. Hope John B is still listening to the program here on Joy 99.7 FM. It's a master class. We are talking about how to raise capital for your startup business. Today we are focusing on the funding options. In studio with me is Albert Nii Ayi Tagoe, who is author of the book How to Raise Capital for Your Startup Business. He's a big man. He's also chartered management accountant and currently head of finance and investment at the Ghana Commodity Exchange. And so this program is made possible by Good Energy Yanara Yandie. Now, what do you do when you run out of fuel in your vehicle? Do you just top up anywhere? Don't do that. Let's introduce you to the Good Energy family and why you must be part. Goil Super XP, Ron 95, and Diesel XP are the best quality fuels with high performance in town for your vehicle. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is a high-grade fuel sold at same price as normal fuel. Goil Diesel XP is low in sulfur, making it an eco-friendly option for your vehicle. With over 440 stations across the nation, join the family that rewards you with quality for an energized driving experience. Good Energy Yanara Yandie. Now, the EcoBank salary account is a special account designed for workers of all income brackets desirous of receiving their salaries through EcoBank. With the EcoBank salary account, you're guaranteed all the benefits of a normal savings or current account plus many more. EcoBank salary account gives workers free life insurance cover of up to 10,000 Ghana cedis, 24/7 access to cash and e-banking services, internet and mobile banking services, high interest on savings, no minimum balance, ability to save through the EcoBank Save As You Spend, a unique feature that helps customers to save and invest. So remember, the insurance policy covers death, permanent or temporary disability, critical illness, hospitalization, retrenchment, and more. Savings or current account holders at EcoBank do not have to close their existing accounts to enjoy the numerous benefits of the EcoBank salary account. Just ask your branch to switch your existing account to the EcoBank salary account. Non-EcoBank account holders should approach any EcoBank branch and ask for the EcoBank salary account. Switch your salary account today and enjoy amazing benefits at EcoBank. Call EcoBank toll free on 0800 003 225 whenever, wherever for further details. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Now, are you tired of losing track on all your business transactions and pilferage? Let me introduce you to Logon Voice Management System Software, the ultimate management system software suite for all kind of businesses. Now, we have Logon Voice POS, which is perfect for retailers and service-based businesses. It has been specifically designed to cater to a wide range of industries, including pharmacies, restaurants, pubs, barber shops, boutiques, food shops, provision shops, cold stores, agriculture and manufacturing companies, fashion stores, rental services, spas, auto parts stores, laundries, IT companies, and printing companies. We also have the Logon Voice SS for your savings and Susu, which is designed for all forms of savings and Susu businesses. It allows customers receive instant text alerts about their account balance, whilst agents collect deposit from customers, ensuring accountability for real-time monitoring. Last but not least is the Logon Voice KTR. This software is specially designed to replace all your manual record keeping for mobile money merchants. It initiates daily amounts, record transactions, and track reports effortlessly, saving you real time and money. Log on to www.logonvoice.com and start selling and generating receipts in just 2 minutes. Contact Logon Voice at on 0302 03028236672. Number again, 0302823672, or WhatsApp 05930396704. For customized software solutions, find Log On Voice adjacent Zenith Bank on the Bachona Spintex Road. Log On Voice, experience seamless business management. Now I can catch my breath. We had to make money. So, yeah, welcome back to the masterclass. Well, Albert has a puzzle for us this afternoon, and so if you are listening, you can join via text on WhatsApp. Send us questions if you do have any questions. 055 1111997 055 1111997. I see somebody. I don't know if the person added their name. Please, how can we get to reach you? So Albert will give you his details when we conclude the program in 9 minutes.
9 minutes, okay.
I hope that we're able to, because we have a lot to cover.
Right.
But let's see if we can take the puzzle. So what's the puzzle for today?
So Daryl, like you said, there's a lot of funding options. So the puzzle is to try to understand our level of open-minded. So it's 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals to 550.
Oh, first of all, I hate math.
You can project this. I think I have it.
All right.
It's 5
plus 5
plus 5 equals to 550. We want to make this true by just placing a line anywhere in the equation.
Are you able to figure? There are 3 5s, right?
Plus
5 plus 5
plus
5
equals to 550. How can we make this true? By just playing a dash anywhere.
Okay, if you can make this true, send me a message right now on WhatsApp 055111199705511119997. If you have an answer to that, even though I doubt anybody will figure it out.
Yeah, just like the horse puzzle that we actually did.
Anyway, so we've got lots to cover. So let's finish on the funding options that you were telling us about.
Right. So the funding option. So I talked about the when you get to the IPO stage, now you open up to the public, and then the public participates usually on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And the good thing is that now we have the Ghana Commodity Exchange that has been established since 2018, which is actually bringing together buyers and sellers of agricultural commodities to trade under rules, and then assuring the members of quality, quantity, and then timely settlement. And as part of this program, we have what we call an arm, which is the access to financing, where the exchange is working with financial institutions to provide financing for smallholder farmers. So we call that warehouse receipt financing. So in Ghana, once you deposit your commodities at the exchange and you are given what we call a warehouse receipt, you can actually go to the financing partner to give you a 70% discount as working capital. So that's like receivable financing. So once you are a smallholder farmer who is also a member of the exchange, that's a way by which you begin to raise capital to go back to the farm gate and then be able to reinvest in the farm, and then activities are actually boosted to boost the economic activities and growing the agricultural value chain. So I want you to be able to understand how funds can also be raised through the warehouse receipt financing process on the Ghana Commodity Exchange. Once you understand that and linking that to all the sources of financing, one thing you also have to be able to understand is that as a business owner, you have to be able to do what we call alternative financing. And I have 5 ways by which you can do alternative financing, which I'll just share very quickly. That it's not always about raising funds to be able to grow your business. Depending on the business, on the stage that the business has gone to, you can do what we call specialized arranged financing with the supplier. So make sure that you are on good terms with your suppliers so that you can always agree and negotiate credit terms with your suppliers. And one thing that you have to know as a business owner is that you can always have profit sharing arrangements. What you do, you can trade off your cost of production, and then when you are able to make profits in the business, you share with your supplier, who is a very key part of your ecosystem in running your business. Or you can explore pre-financing options by customers. That's why you would have pre-financing activities where members will pay you ahead of time to be able to deliver bulk orders or bulk suppliers to provide a product. So depending on the industry that you are, if your customers are able to pre-finance or pre-order, it gives you that liquidity. That's an alternative form form of financing to be able to grow your business, or where you go into off-taker agreements for receivable financing and all of that. You don't always have to buy machinery. You can do what we call an evaluation for buy or lease decision. This decision can be taken depending on the stage of your business and where you need to be able to invest strategically to be able to grow what I call your operating earnings or your operating income. Is very, very important. I'm just throwing these options out there as alternatives, ways by which businesses can be able to raise finances to be able to grow your business, as we are learning to be able to leverage and understand how to raise capital. And these are things that gets very exciting over time.
This is a full course.
Yes.
This is a full course.
Yes.
And I hope you have written so much on your today, because I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. And it's very important because we need to be able to learn by, and I like the point
not
you
just
made
written,
that,
but learn as well.
Yes.
We are almost out of time, but I just want us to check out some of the messages that have come through on. I'd be surprised if anybody got this correct, because Abeku can't figure it out, and Abeku is very smart. So
okay.
The question: 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals
550. How can we
550.
make this true? Yes.
How can we make this true?
Yes.
So, just a moment. We are going to get your answers on our WhatsApp console. But as we get ready, I just wanted to read a bit of your book, because you've written a book about how to raise capital for your startup business. And you say a key task for business owners is to be able to explore more opportunities that are available for matured businesses to be able to list and raise capital on the Ghana Stock Exchange. This process must be part of the thinking of a business owner for the long term, and preparation to participate on the exchange must begin right from the inception of the business.
Right.
So you have to start thinking about it from the inception of your business. Do you remember the scientific process we have been talking about, raising capital for the business? I mean, you are asking if you remember the scientific process, and it said depending on which part of Africa and the world that you find yourself in, you need to explore the various stock exchanges and how your business can participate in raising long-term capital for your business. And I find that most of our entrepreneurs are not able to make it to that point, which we have to be able to figure out.
It's a process.
It's a process. And so as we wrap up this afternoon, so 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 550. Oh my. So the answer from William Hector says 5 plus 545 equals 550.
Wow.
Add a line to any of the plus sign.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
He got it.
Kudos.
Hey,
William Hector. Oh, William is sharp.
William is so sharp. Good afternoon, Daryl.
Yeah.
Kindly ask Albert if there are any institutions or professionals who can help me navigate through the process of raising capital for my startup. My startup helps people find accommodation without the hassle often associated with agents. Emmanuel from Quick Rent Africa.
Great. Yes. We have we've listed a number of options in the book. I've come up with a number of options there, so I'm sure it's a very good process. And kudos to you, Emmanuel, for doing such a great intervention.
Did somebody actually write that on paper and send us?
Oh dear.
Okay. This one. Hi. Good afternoon. Thanks for the program. Please, I want you to highlight on what angel investors and the angel investors in Ghana. We'll talk about that next week. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I thought somebody had screenshot their answers. Let's check if that's what they did. But quickly, next week, what are we going to be talking about?
So next week, we are touching on grant financing, where we will touch on the preparation, execution, and management of grants, which is a very key area that we have to look at, and the impact that your business is actually providing on the economy to be able to grow the economy in general.
Well, this is really funny. Kofi Formation, which says 5 plus 5 plus 5 is not equal to 550. You can't give him that stress.
I think Kofi, okay. Kofi has drawn that. Kofi is trying to be open-minded.
Yeah, he's being open-minded. It's like, no, you can't stress my mind this afternoon.
I know. Wow.
I sort of agree with him. It's never equal to 550.
I mean, if you put the sign on the equal sign,
but
then Kofi is trying to say it's not equal.
He's smart.
If that's open-mindedness. But if you put it like William Hector said, if you put it on the plus that we have, so 5, so let's put a dash on the plus, it becomes 4. So it becomes 545 plus 5 equals to 550.
Okay.
There we are.
Congrats, William. You got it correct. And that's the masterclass. Thanks for listening, everyone. You can always listen again because there's so much we covered today. Just go to our Facebook platform, Joy 99.7 FM. You find the link there to listen again. Masterclass is brought to you by Gwell, Good Energy, Goyanara, and for all of you who had questions we couldn't respond to, we will try and do them. We'll take note of them and try and do them next week as well. Albert will be coming back to continue with our series on how to raise capital for your startup business. My name is Daryl Kwawu. Thanks for listening once again. Ignition continues with Sammy Force, and don't go anywhere.